Welcome to a new video, the qualification checklist. What is the qualification checklist exactly? It is a checklist that you need to check off with the prospect, and when every single point in this list is checked, then the prospect is closable. If not every single point in this checklist is checked, then the prospect isn't closable. So a lot of times we run into the issue of getting to the end of the call and then not being able to close the prospect because of money. Maybe it's the money amount, they don't have the full amount, or they don't have access to the amount. So it's important that you know that they have the money, but they also have access to the money. It's important to know that they are a decision maker. It's important to know that they have time for the call. So let's go over each and every single one of these, starting off with time for the call. You are gonna have a conversation with the prospect, and the conversation requires you to go deep with them. Go deep with them, explore their pain, explore their pleasure, understand them as a person. And this can take time. And I'm talking more than 5 minutes, more than 10 minutes, sometimes up to 45 minutes, sometimes even up to an hour. So you need to make sure that they have time and they don't have any other appointments, in 20 minutes. If they do, then you know this already, and you know that you shouldn't be presenting an investment, a solution, anything like this, because they won't be able to make the decision because they don't have time. They're gonna tell you, hey, I have to rush off. I have to, I'll pay you later. Just send me the link. And a lot of the prospects that say this flake. Now, not always, but most of the time they do. You want to collect the payment on the call because life is always lifing. Life always gets in the way. In the beginning of your career as a closer, you get on calls with prospects and they tell you like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna pay tonight, I'm gonna pay later. And sure, sometimes it is true, but you want to make sure as much as you can to collect the payments on the call itself. Number one is time for the call. Number two is that they are the decision maker. Okay, extremely important, because if you're talking to someone that isn't the decision maker, you get to the end of the call, you drop the investment, and they just tell you, hey, you know what, I need to talk to my business partner, or you know what, my mom is gonna pay, so I need to still, talk to her. So you need to know who is this decision maker early on in the call, and you can do this by just simply asking the question, hey, by the way, I would love to know how you normally go about making decisions like investing into yourself and taking a step like, following a program. Like, are you the person that decides, or is there someone else that you have to discuss with? Think about like a partner or parent, something like that. Just ask a question, very simple, just depending on the person that you're speaking to. You don't really say, hey, are you the decision maker? You could if you're doing B2B, because they understand what that word means. But if you're just doing B2C and you're just talking to a normal person, just, keep it casual. Hey, how do you normally go about, moving forward with, a program like this or a service like this? Let's say we are a match by the end of the call. Like, how does that go? Take me into your world. The way you ask, by the way, if they have time for the call, you just simply say, hey, look, Roger, normally these calls take me about 30 to 45 minutes, and we're gonna explore a lot of stuff, amongst others, your goals, and we're gonna dive into what challenges you're facing in terms of achieving that goal. So, do you have that time available, like 30, 45 minutes-ish, something like that? Yeah, you have it? Cool. You don't need to be anywhere after. Oh, you're free the whole day. Okay, perfect. So that's kind of like how you ask about the time. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the third point, is how much money they have available now. Very important to know as well, of course, because most programs that you're selling for, services, there's many packages. There are some very like high ticket things like 20K, there's 15K stuff, there's 8K stuff, there's 3K stuff, there's probably even a $500 option. So it's important to know how much money the prospect has available so you can look with them what is the best option. Now, typically the most expensive option is the one that is, the best. Obviously, just like a car. Like if you go to Tesla.com and you buy a Tesla, and you can choose different types of the same Tesla, like, an upgraded engine, colors that you add, carbon fiber stuff. Anyway, the most expensive Tesla is the best one, is the most powerful one, is the fastest one. But not everyone has that budget. So based on the budget of the prospect, you go and create the best package, or choose, or like offer them the thing that works for them the best. I hope that makes sense. So that's why you need to know how much money they have available. Because let's say they are quite well off, they have 50K saved up and you guys have a 15K option, and the 15K option is much better and faster than the 5K option. Then you can go ahead and offer them. But it wouldn't make sense to offer the 15K thing to someone that just has 2K to their name. You can offer it, you can sell it as much as you want, you can be the best closer ever, but you definitely will not close them on that call. You might be able to convince them to get access to resources. However, you're not going to close them on that call because they literally don't have the money to even give it to you. And you always want to be collecting. You always want to take the money on the call, even if it's just a deposit. More on that later. So you have to know how much money they have available now. So how do you ask about how much money they have available now without causing too much resistance? It's really simple. It has to make sense for them why they give you this information. If you're just gonna like randomly say how much money do you have in your bank account, it's very intrusive, very personal, and they won't feel good about it. But if you say, hey, Elizabeth, we have many different options and ways that we can help you build your e-commerce store. And, we have a lot of different people that book these calls with us. Some people are like really well off. They have over 100K saved up. They're already doing e-commerce and they want to go from 50K per month with their store to 1 million per month, their store. So obviously the strategy we have for someone like that is really different than the strategy that we use for someone that, just has 3K to their name. I'm really curious, what are we working with when it comes to you and you investing into yourself and your e-commerce store? And based on that, I can just give you the right strategy that, works within that amount. And now they're like, oh, okay, perfect. No, I'll tell you because I want the right advice. I don't want to get the wrong advice. So they give you the amount that they have. Now, fourth point is money amount available later. Now, why is this important to know as well? Is because, well, you know how much money they have now, but sometimes they don't have the full amount, right? And you want to offer them a payment plan if that is a possibility. With most services, it is a possibility. So they pay in terms, right? So let's say it's a 5K product. They can pay it off multiple times using $1,500 or 5 times $1,000 every single month, something like that. So you want to know if they can get access to the, to the other payment terms. Otherwise, you're going to close them, but, they won't have the money for the next term and stuff like this. This is one thing, but it's obviously also good to know how much money they have available later. So when you're presenting them the offer, you can mention it as well. So after you know how much money they have available now, you're like, okay, cool. So you have 3K available to your name right now. And, obviously when we start with your e-commerce store, there's expenses like every single business has. Like think about ads, think about the software that we're going to use to, run the store, etc. So how much money is typically coming in for you on a monthly basis? And, then I know, again, which strategy we can use best in terms of like which software, etc., that fits within your amount every single month. So like how much would you say is coming in every single month? 2K. Okay, 2K is coming in every single month. Interesting. And, that's your salary, you mean, right? That's what you receive. Okay, obviously it's not the full amount that you have available every single month, right? Because you have like your expenses and costs and stuff. How much would that be if, like, after you pay all of your expenses, food and just your regular stuff? Like, how much do you have left? Okay, $400. Okay, cool. So $400 every single month you have set aside. Okay, perfect. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you for letting me know. Perfect. Something like that. That's the money amount available later. And then when you know this and you give them a payment plan, then you can say, hey, by the way, so our program, the full investment for the program is $3,000 US. However, you've told me before that you just have 2K to your name in this moment. That is true, right? Okay, cool. First of all, I'm really curious. When I say to you 3K, even if you don't have the amount available right now, does it make sense to you why we're asking 3K for this? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. It makes sense because this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. So, since you don't have that money available for yourself right now, but you told me earlier that you're really excited, you're really pumped, you really want to get started, and you really, once and for all, just want to solve that mentioned pain forever, right? And you also told me that, you're really convinced that we can help you solve that pain. Okay, so would you be open for us to discuss other possibilities to make it actually work for you, despite the fact that you don't have the full amount available right now? Like, would you like that? Would you like for us to spar? Yeah, perfect. Okay, cool. So let me see what I can do for you, right? Like, you have 3K, the program's 3K, and you have just 2K available, and 400 is coming in every single month. So, seeing your current situation, I looked into what I can do for you, and what I'm able to do for you is the following. So, open your ears. I'm about to share it with you. So we can get you started off with $1,200, meaning you still have $800 to your name. So you're still safe. You still have like some money left over for yourself. So it feels good for you to get started with it. And then we're gonna do a payment plan where you're gonna invest just $400 every single month after that for 3 times. And then we'll have paid off the full amount. No interest, nothing like that. So I repeat, we start off with $1,200, and then we're gonna do the following 3 months, $400 every single month. So how does that sound to you? Sounds good? Okay, perfect. So like that, you can give them like an offer that is based on the amount they have available. Now the 5th point is money access. Well, you need to know if they have access to the money on their bank, and if they have like a Visa card or a MasterCard that they can actually fulfill the investment with. Because last thing you want is someone telling you, yeah, I have money, I have like 6,000 saved up, and then at the end they tell you, yeah, but it's in cash. Now, if they're somewhere in Africa, there's no way you can go and pick that up right away. Yeah, so you need to know if they have access to the money on their account, so like when you make the offer, they're actually able to invest it right away. So the way you ask for this is really simple. When you ask about how much money they have, and they tell you, yeah, I have 2K, you can say, yeah, and that 2K, is that like available to you right now, or is that invested into stocks or crypto, or do you have it cash, like, or is it just like actually available to you right now in your bank? And if they tell you, yeah, it's available for me, then you can move on. But if they tell you it's not available to them at that moment, well, then that if you drop the investment by the end of the call, they won't be able to pay. So what do you do here? Then you can just ask them, if they don't have it available on their bank, you can ask them, yeah, but like off the 2K that you have, is that fully cash, or do you have some amount available in your bank? Let's say they have 500 available in their bank. Then you can still collect a deposit of 500 and fulfill the rest of the amount later. But it's really important to keep collecting, like on the call itself, because life is always lifing. Stuff always happens. Even if they are extremely like enthusiastic about everything, people's moods change all the time. So you want to just collect the amount on the call itself, so you have them committed to the entire process. Cool. If there's any questions that you have, just post them in the community or send me a message. I'd be more than happy to help you. If there's something that isn't clear, just message me and I'll make sure to help you out. Take care and see you in the next one.